The main issue with the market today really is weak investor sentiment. And investor sentiment is pretty weak because the economic recovery after China has come out of the COVID lockdown policy last year has been weaker than expected. This is somewhat to be expected, right? Because the consumer-led recovery in China never benefited to the same extent as the Western countries from direct government subsidies and direct government handout. On top of that, what's happening this year is the government regulators are still very focused on levering the housing market or the leverage in the housing market. And that's causing industries and companies associated with the housing market to be fairly weak right now. But looking at the overall composition of the economy over the medium to longer term, both consumptions and then the net export part of the economy should still do quite okay, while the housing part of the economy will probably fade away over time and no longer count as part of the growth driver. And so naturally the other part of the economic growth drivers, the consumption and net import and export, will have to take its place. So that transition process takes time, but the outcome of that will be a more balanced economy and more sustained growth. So that's not necessarily a bad thing from our point of view. So long story short, which is we think that the investor or the market needs to see that transition taking place. The market needs to see evidences of the other parts of the economy picking up the slack from the missing housing market in terms of the growth driver. The good thing is that it's probably not going to be a super long process, right? It's not a 3-year, 5-year process. And when that does come around, confidence will come and then the market should start to recover. We think that the Chinese government is very serious about becoming carbon neutral by 2060. To us, this is not just an environmental policy, but an energy security and national security policy. And the reason we think that's the case is because, of course, the more China can generate its own energy needs inside its own borders through solar farms or wind farms, the less it has to rely on seaborne oil or energy imports from places like Saudi Arabia, etc. And of course, we all know long supply chains is susceptible to security risks. And so we believe that Chinese government will be very focused on delivering that policy over time. And there will be a set of companies that benefit from this policy, meaning that they will see their top line and their bottom line grow. And so our strategy is really explicitly to buy these companies because we think these companies will grow faster and they will deliver more earnings and therefore they will make more money. And that makes a really good strategy for us.